The truth finally leaked as Kevin O'Connell's recent interview not so subtly revealed exactly what the plan is for quarterback J.J. McCarthy come training camp, as well as addressing the quarterback competition storyline that has been developing all offseason. We're going to be breaking down all that in this episode of Vikings Digest, but first, if you're not a part of the 1,300 subscribers that we currently have and you want to stay up to date on all things Vikings, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of the updates when they drop. We had a huge spike in subscribers over the past week or so we appreciate everybody who has been coming to the channel. So welcome and stick around. We're going to have a lot of great content for you guys. And with that, let's hop straight right into it with the first topic of the day, which is K.O.C. leaks the truth. So he was on Rich Eisen earlier today, and he was talking about J.J. McCarthy being a big topic conversation, saying that J.J. is going to be in a great position to assume and ascend in our organization, but right now we really don't have any feelings on competition as much as we've got an obligation as coaches to put our players in position to attack that competition phase. And this was in response to the ongoing conversation around a quarterback competition this offseason heading into the regular season and obviously the preseason as far as who will be the QB1. Obviously, we know who the QB1 is going to be. It's just all a formality at this point. But with everybody asking about it, Rich was just asking, hey, what's the update with that? And he's saying that we can't even have a competitive thing in practice right now just because of the rules in place to ensure that starters stay healthy. But with that in itself is saying something where you can't really have any competitiveness in practice yet because of the physicality of it. But once that time comes, JJ will be on the field for that, of course. But one thing he did say is that I know everybody is wildly concerned about these reps on air. Let me put you at peace, Rich. When McCarthy is taking snaps, he's taken plenty of snaps from Ryan Kelly, who happens to be a 10-year starting center in this league. So take that for what it's worth. I don't think Vikings fans should be worried about the amount of reps JJ is going to get with the ones. We're going to have him ready to go. And right there, that just tells you all you need to know. If he's taking reps with the 10-year veteran center who they brought in as one of our marquee free agents of this offseason, that goes to say that maybe he's going to be starting. And with him saying that Viking fans shouldn't be worried about the reps, that already goes to show that he's probably going to be the starter. It's just all a foregone conclusion at this point, and just wants to keep it a formality for when the time comes and to make sure that JJ just has that competitive edge throughout preseason and throughout the training camp preceding that and into the regular season so that he feels that he has fully earned the job and keeps that chip on his shoulder. That's one of the biggest things that a lot of people were saying about him coming out of Michigan is that this kid plays with a giant chip on his shoulder. So maintaining that throughout the entirety of training camp, and it's not necessarily in the sense of we don't believe in you, we want you to prove it. It's more in the sense of, hey, you want to earn this? We'll make you feel like you have earned it, even though we already know that you're worthy of it and that you have earned it. Just make it feel like it's earned for yourself. And now we have a major win because the mental aspect for J.J. McCarthy is also a big thing. So it's almost catering to J.J. McCarthy's competitive nature where he wants it to be tougher on him. He's talked about how he is embracing the competition nature of it, even though he knows that the job is probably his. But he doesn't want anything to be given to him. He wants to earn every little bit that he gets on this Minnesota Vikings team. So with him taking reps with Ryan Kelly, again, with him coming off the injury, we shouldn't be seeing too many crazy reps with him. And yes, with the starters, you're not going to see the amount of crazy reps to start the offseason and into the preseason and training camp as much as the regular starters. You want to make sure that they stay healthy, especially with JJ coming off of the injury that he is coming off of. So that's a big one as well. So Kevin O'Connell is keeping it somewhat tight-lipped, but also loosely lipped in saying that very big piece, saying Vikings fans shouldn't be worried about the reps, and that if he's taking reps with Ryan Kelly, that goes to say something on its own. And then he went into a bigger one here where if you want to pause it and take a read, you can go ahead. But if not, I'll read it here for you, saying that he is having a great start to his offseason program. He's bigger. He's stronger. I can see it in his arm. I can see it in his movements. I can see just the ownership of playing quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. He gained a lot from last year, albeit not how we all drew it up. But he's already showing early on here. Today was our third day of phase 2 on the grass. I think all his teammates feel it. I know coaches do, myself included. Now can we just build and progress towards when we get our first competitive opportunity come training camp? And that's going to be a big thing that everybody's going to be watching. I don't think there's going to be a single throw that is going to be analyzed more on the first day of training camps than J.J. McCarthy's. It'll be almost similar to when Brett Favre went to the Vikings training camp and just threw that perfect spiral. And it was the Brett Favre show ever since. But that is also a confirmation almost in itself that the Vikings do see him as the future of this franchise, the ownership of playing quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. If he has that already nailed down, that is already another massive step and very indicative of Kevin O'Connell all but confirming that J.J. McCarthy will be the quarterback number one for this season, especially when you look at the quarterback room. I know Brett Rippon isn't on there. He did kind of get edged out, but I wanted to keep it more towards the ones and the twos for this. But on the depth chart, he's listed at number one. Sam Howell, as solid of a quarterback as he is and a serviceable backup, I don't think he's going to be stealing that number one job from J.J. McCarthy. Again, this has all just been a formality. And when you look at that roster, it's almost set up for JJ not to fail. You have Brian O'Neill, you have Will Fries, you have Ryan Kelly, you have Donovan Jackson, you have Christian Darrisaw. Just looking at that, and then they drafted Joe Huber as well, who we covered in our video where you guys seem to really like that video and see how excited we were about him. But Donovan Jackson, that's another draft pick that I think is going to be a really big one. Ryan Kelly, 10-year veteran. Will Fries, 5-year guy, and he's also a big stud. Brian O'Neill is a veteran as well, and Christian Darrisaw is one of the best left tackles in the game. And not even to mention the weapons he has at the skill position. You have a running back core of Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, obviously solid. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor. Then you have Rondale Moore, who's going to be very speedy, and Ty Felton. And then you have obviously TJ Hawkinson and Josh Oliver, he was very reliable last season as a reliable tight end when TJ Hawkinson was subbed out of plays, or we just needed a gotta have it play and TJ was locked down. We launched it right to him and we got a lot of first downs out of it. So that's a big thing for Minnesota this season. They knew they had to address a lot of things heading into for the offense, the interior of the offensive line. They went out and fixed that up in the draft and in free agency. They went out and fixed things in the interior defensive line. They went out and solidified that. Then you went out and reinforced the run game, where Ty Chandler is a serviceable number 3, but he hasn't been able to make that step up to number 2. So what do? You went out and got a guy who is a dominant number 2 running back and has the capability of being a number 1 running back, but now he is in a tandem where we can have a 1A and 1B, 1-2 punch, just like a lot of teams are trying to copy off of the Detroit Lions are. Again, this is the NFL. It's a league of parity. And hey, if one thing's working for another team, you go out and try and copy it yourself the best that you can do. We're seeing Chicago try and do that. We're trying to do that. The Giants are trying to do that. A lot of teams are trying to do that to replicate what the Lions have been able to do with Montgomery and Gibbs. As much as I hate giving the Lions credit, I do have to give credit where credit's due there. But hopefully this is a season where Minnesota can just go and dominate that part of the ball, especially with J.J. McCarthy at the helm, where he can utilize Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones in the passing game with all that protection from a very solid offensive line where, again, experience and veterans and Pro Bowls and awesome draft picks are key. Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill, we brought those guys in. They've been here for a very long time as we have drafted them. Then Donovan Jackson as well, one we just drafted this year, who's going to be a very big asset at left guard. Then, of course, Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, the new additions. Joe Huber, I'm also very excited to see what he can do on this Vikings team. I can't wait to see what role he plays in his rookie season. We've seen how the Vikings kind of ease rookies into it, and we might see that with J.J. McCarthy, where don't expect J.J. McCarthy to play all the preseason games. I probably wouldn't even bank on him playing the first 2 games. I'd probably put him in for the last game, or if you're going to put him in for the second one, or just for the first drive of the first game, first 2 drives of the second game, and then maybe the first quarter of the third game, if that were the case. But again, preseason is a long way away. You want to ensure that you guys just make sure these guys are healthy. But with that, we've seen how with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Dallas Turner, the Vikings really like to ease rookies into games. So Donovan Jackson, we might not see him fully start every single game or play 90% of the snaps. We're probably going to see a split share between him and anybody else that's going to jump in there, specifically Blake Brandel and as well as Will Fries with Joe Huber. So Will Fries might get a lot more snaps than Joe Huber, obviously, just because of the veteran experience. However, with that, I still am excited to see how Joe Huber will factor into this offense and give J.J. McCarthy even more protection. Because at the end of the day, that's why the Vikings went out and did this. They went out and they drafted J.J. McCarthy for a reason as high as they did. They went out and they got these offensive linemen to protect him because they believe in him. And they know that he is going to be the future of this franchise. They wouldn't have done all this for nothing and just to protect Sam Howell. They know that this is all to protect J.J. McCarthy. and that the announcement of him as QB1 is just a matter of months away probably, or until the last possible second when the Vikings just have us on the ropes. They want to make us think that, hey, we're just going to pull a rug out from under you, but nope, it's just going to be exactly what you thought it was, just as we've been expecting all offseason. But what do you guys think of K.O.C's comments? Did you watch the Rich Eisen interview? If you haven't, go out and check it out. It was a great interview, and there's going to be probably a lot of Rich Eisen Vikings content this season just because of J.J. McCarthy. So that's going to give us a lot of great stuff to talk about and a lot of great things for Vikings fans to be excited about. So stay tuned for all the updates that we have. We're going to be back at it with another video tomorrow covering anything and everything to do with the Minnesota Vikings. So you won't want to miss that. Subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss the update when it drops. But with that, I've been your host, Griffen. Take care.